Hello everyone. You are listening to 108live.radio. This is Kazway Kashiopia, who will be accompanying you for the next 1 hour. I am a tarot reader, artist, and creator of my own tarot deck, which I use for all my readings. I'm also an academic psychologist and healer. I have my own practice in Johannesburg, South Africa as a life coach. I'd like to welcome you to my show, Interactive Tarot. This program revolves around the tarot cards. Over time, I'll be covering what tarot cards are, what they are not, how they are used, and so on. If you have any question, please contact me by emailing to mail2@cashiopia.com. Again, it is mail2@cashiopia.com. I'll spell Kashiopia, Kashiopia.com. I will certainly consider your question as one of the topics during the show. Closer to the end of the show, I will open an opportunity for listeners to call in so that you might be able to get a tarot reading done for clarification and guidance for your current issue. Interactive Tarot will be aired every Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. live here on 108live.radio. Stay tuned in.
Good morning, Atma.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, so we got Atma here, who is the guy behind the whole 108live.radio, and he's also my guest. My weekly guest, unfortunately today, he has gotten ill and not able to join. So we're just talking about a tarot, we're just having a chat over. I can't quite remember, I'm sorry, what I was going to talk about, but I thought talking about how tarot works as divination tool might be a good topic to cover today.
Yeah.
And also I have gotten actually a reading request on Facebook. So I have already shuffled the cards and I will be doing reading for her. I hope you're listening to us, Melinda.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you have me in studio, your guest who never leaves.
No, it's cool. It's cool because you are quite knowledgeable in things and your insight is very appreciated. So the conversation becomes very interesting.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it becomes insightful, I feel. So, all right. So how tarot cards work as divination tool? Have you wondered about that?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, well, I think there are a few explanations, and many people work differently. I have a few theories, and they are just theories, and they are not necessarily scientifically proven or anything. And I have to go, I definitely feel that spiritual connection between the cards and the intention of the reader or the current, the person who is asking question. But there are actually if somebody wants to take it from a more of scientific point of view, we can definitely talk about it more from a psychological point of view. Okay. Then, as I said, there is a spiritual aspect. Then there is also a quantum physics or quantum mechanism perspective, which I really can't tell the difference between spiritualism to science when we start bringing in quantum mechanics. So, from a psychological point of view, to start out, there are 78 cards in the deck, and each single card is just an archetype of human experience and psyche, which means pretty much anybody as a human being will be able to relate to every single card that they have either experienced emotions that are depicted in certain card, or actual physical experience that they have had, or even thoughts that they can relate to. So when cards come out, they can, or I will look at the cards and I will start talking about certain things that comes to my mind, and it helps clients, current, to open up to the topic. And as I said, every single 78 cards should be relevant, all relevant to pretty much anyone and everyone. So that's sort of a difference between traditional psychotherapy and tarot reading or divination, is that with the psychotherapy, especially with modern psychotherapy that promotes so-called autonomy, which means people have to take responsibility for themselves, but then a psychotherapist what they can do is actually to bring out what the person wants, and the client has to think about what he or she wants. There is no advice from a therapist saying you should do this, because then it beats the point of having autonomy. Whereas a tarot reading, a therapist will suggest, okay, this comes up, what in this matter, what would you like to talk about? And then client can open up and start conversation quite easily. Whereas in some cases of psychotherapy, when clients are told, okay, what do you want, what would you like to get out of, and just start talking about your issues, some of them can get lost, if you know what I mean. So I feel like, and I'm not mocking psychotherapists at all, as you might have picked up, I do have a master's degree in psychology, so I could have become academic psychotherapist, but I that's not my path. I want to do tarot reading, so I use tarot for therapy. But I feel that psychotherapy actually takes such a long time for client to open up, because it's not very comfortable for all of us to talk about our issues from the start, like out of the blue. So it's much easier when somebody says, okay, something like this comes up, would you like to talk about it? There's we can appreciate that we can appreciate being prompted to discuss certain issue. So sometimes psychotherapy can take a few hours, a few sessions to build the rapport or the relationship between therapist and a client. With a tarot reading, maybe we don't need that long time, because we get right to the, say, an issue, like the core of the issue that it should be talked about. So that's what I feel from a psychological perspective of tarot reading. Then, as I said, I believe there is a spiritual aspect that I imagine when I start doing a tarot reading. I always imagine that that's like a prayer, my spiritual guide will contact his or her client's spiritual guide, and then I ask for the best card or significant cards, or what is most relevant to a particular issue that the client came to me for. And I don't think it has ever been really, really wrong. And I guess that can go back to the psychology aspect, that any single card can be applicable. But I do get amazed how some cards are more relevant to that particular person, a particular situation, than other cards, and that's what comes up. So that's my spiritual perspective, that there is a spiritual connection between my guide and your guide, and cards somehow reveal that connection, then my thought, and there are no ranks to these theories. This spiritual theory or perspective, I feel, is backed up by quantum physics. That, quantum mechanism and quantum physics is beyond just our material world. It's about science of energy. It's a science of a frequency. So, say whether I call it a spiritual guide or not, frequency, spirit, all those are basically, frequency and spirit. They're the same thing, I feel. If you disagree, please don't hesitate to email or the contact Atma. But each card also has frequency, and it's a frequency of intention that we put as a reader. We connect to each single card, and we have already set out intention to each card. And this frequency that the intention is reflecting gets drawn to a particular question or situation. And the current, the person who's asking a question, also has intention and frequency. And their internal thoughts and feelings that are reflected or represented by certain frequency will resonate with a certain cause that relevant cause. So, no, I feel there is that quantum physics connection. Now, what do you think, Atma?
Well, I think when you think about it from an energy perspective, everything is a vibration ultimately. So we just have to tap into the vibration of the next or other. But then the question is, what frequency?
Yeah.
Then that comes in at what frequency? So in the Vedic tradition, where the first point is to understand that you're not this body, you're the soul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then how then to proceed to understand that fact and actually live by it becomes a thing in practice. And that is why you find, particularly in the Hare Krishna movement, if you may, sorry about that, you get the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is a kind of tapping into an absolute frequency, if you may.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, I get it when you say each card has its own frequency.
Because
each
we have
color
reflected,
has a frequency.
yes, and it's the intention that we have put, or reflected on those cards. Some people say or ask me, how can cards, a piece of paper, can determine people's future? I say it doesn't. It really doesn't. They are just tools. They are mediumship cards. That they are even the card themselves are mediators. And they don't determine people's future. They just reflect.
So is it the intention behind the thing then?
Well, intention or whatever that you want to call it, it's that certain frequency. Yeah. And
is it desire? Is it
no, everything. Just from a desire to fear to joy to wish to any thoughts and emotions that humans can experience.
Experience and project.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I hope that makes sense. And if you have any question about this, please contact me at mail2@cashiopia.com. Or they can contact you, Atma, right? Oh,
Yeah, they
well,
can.
you can. Well, you can ask Atma any question, and if it's anything about a tarot, then he can forward the question to me.
Yes, I'll do that.
So, what's your email address again?
It's 108live.radio@gmail.com.
Alrighty, you got them. So, as I said, I have gotten a reading request today, and it is Melinda. Melinda, I hope you don't mind me sharing your question. Well, she would like to know if she will be able to leave her work and start her own business. Like, if she will be viable enough financially to do that or not. Generally speaking, I don't do fortune telling, so to speak, or like I don't do reading to determine somebody's future, because the future depends on choices that we make right now, right here. And there are so many choices. I mean, like where you sit, how you breathe might have an effect, like a butterfly effect. Whatever you do, whatever you think, whatever you feel, already changes future, or already chooses what might happen. Life is always binary. It's 0, 1, 0, 1, just like a computer. It's yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's beyond one yes. There is like millions of yeses and no's. So our future possibility is vast. But we certainly follow certain patterns of our lives. So when I say like future reading, I don't determine what's going to happen, but it's more like the most probable outcome based on your tendency or your patterns of behavior or exactly what you're thinking or feeling. So I just I don't know, I haven't drawn the cards, although I have shuffled the cards. So whether it comes out yes or no, what I don't want you to do is live by expectation that, okay, because of the tarot reading, this is going to happen, so I don't have to do anything. Well, that will change the future. If you're not doing what you're doing, or unless you keep doing what you're doing, the future that the cards have identified might not come out. At the same time, if the cards say, no, it won't happen, then don't be doomed that it will never happen, that it's not meant to be. Because when it's positive, people can have a false expectation. And when the result of the cards becomes negative, they can be discouraged and disappointed. And that's not the point. The point is, let's see what the probability is, or most probable outcome should be, might be, can be, and see what you can do about it. So, alright, let me just draw the cards. I'm going to be doing a 2-card reading. First card saying what's the probable outcome. So it's like yes or no. Yes, you are going to be leaving your job and start your own business, or no, you most likely won't. But then in the second card, let's look at what you can do about it. Like what you are doing right, or otherwise what you should be doing. So, ready? Let me see. It's gonna go quick. As I said, the cards are already shuffled. Okay, the 2 cards that came out. First card is Prince of Cups. The second card is the Moon. The Moon reversed. The first card, it's difficult one to say absolute yes or no. I have gotten a feeling it's more of yes. Well, I don't know what you are wanting to do as your new career, but Prince of Cups is air over water. Air representing people's intellect, mental power, while water represents emotions. And it's a good combination of, if you want to be able to express your emotions in an intellectual way. So, and emotions usually deal with or water element usually deals also with the people or how you relate to people. So I have gotten a feeling that if you plan well, planning is an aspect of an air element, which is intellect. So if you plan well, and if you look after your relationships with people, or basically, I guess, just being a right person, and also not to be overwhelmed by your emotions itself, but process your emotions correctly and analyze it. And if there are issues, then come up with solutions from a more of objective and logical manners. Then it seems that you can make a very good business plan. And air card or air element is often about solutions as well, like solutions to issues. So Prince of Cups being upright, it seems you should be able to have your way. The second card is the Moon card reversed. The Moon card, I'm not saying it's a daunting card, but it basically is a card about your own inner fear. More in terms of how important it is to face your own fear, like what you usually want to deny or avoid. It seems it's the best time to reevaluate your life and see where your fear lies and delve into it. I don't know if the fear is about certain things that you're facing at work, or certain things that you might be facing when you open your business, but something that you are uncomfortable facing. It's time for you to face them. And it's a journey into yourself, into your darker self. And what's important is that you will have to come back from that journey of delving into your internal self, into your own darkness, and come out to see the light outside. Because at the end of the night, no matter how dark the night might have been, there is always sun that comes up. So I think that the cards are positive, that you seem to be able to make your dream come true, that you should be able to leave your work and well, beyond that I can't tell you, but that is, as long as you are planning well and you're looking after your own emotions, including facing your fear and also looking after your relationship. I hope this resonates, like this reading resonates with you. I'll keep in touch with you, Melinda, on Facebook, so I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, Atma, we still got 30 minutes. Like, is there anything else that you'd like me to talk about, or?
Yeah, I was just thinking actually, like when you were doing the reading for Melinda, is it like most people don't seek counsel nowadays. They think it's hocus pocus, if you may, right? And I think it has to do with the disqualification, if you may, of anything that has to do with a fixed spiritual practice that would be qualified as religious, if you may. So, have you seen any change in that way from people coming to you or people not coming? Or
I definitely meet, whole variety of people who had never gotten tarot reading, and got a tarot reading from me, and it's gobsmacked and says it's so accurate. Well, being accurate is not the point of a tarot reading, if you ask me. It's not some kind of guessing game. It's more about, well, let's see what you have to face. Let's see what you have to resolve, So that's more of the point. It's to empower the person. That's what I would like to do with my tarot reading. So when people just tell me, yeah, well, you guessed my situation correctly, well, it doesn't really, it's not the most significant thing for me at all. It's more important that, okay, well, what have you learned, and what are you taking on from there? But I still appreciate them acknowledging what I do. But then there are people who would hear, it's so accurate, therefore I'm scared, I'm not going to you. I'm like, okay, like each to their own. Like, what is so scary? But we have talked about this fear associated with the tarot reading, a few times in the last few weeks. So, okay, well, I'm not going to push them to get a tarot reading. Whatever the fear that they're facing, that's fine. If they wanna keep it, that's fine. Then there are people who would come to tarot reading for, as I said, like a fortune telling, like what is going to happen in my future. Well, I can't guarantee anything. And maybe there are tarot readers and there are psychics out there who can say, okay, I can see this is happening, so just be aware of this. I know that can happen. I don't feel that's my path, like that kind of a being able to give a warning to people is my gift in this life. My gift is more like let the person face what they're supposed to face, And so, well, I have never turned down anybody who asked me for fortune telling. I just explained, as I said, as I explained before I did Melinda's reading, that it's I don't want people to have false expectation, nor I don't want them to feel doomed.
have you had somebody who's come across like that, and then had, like, maybe you did a little fortune telling session for them, and then they came back dissatisfied, and then they blamed you somehow?
No, I have never had anyone like complaining or expressing disappointment. But I remember there was one case where I knew I couldn't get the message across. It was also about her job. And she wanted to expand her job, but she just didn't really know how, or she couldn't really find a desire or deep, like a burning sensation to expand her business. She just needed to do it for money, just simply for money. And I asked her if, cars came out to ask her if she's doing what she really wants to do. And she said, well, no, I'm just doing it for money. And I said it's sometimes very important to, acknowledge what you really want to do or follow your passion. And I don't think my words were enough. Like I was lacking words to explain what I was trying to get to. Another card was saying that always go back to, at this point, we just go back to the original point of how you start your business. Like, what was the original intention? And that's where your passion is. But I don't think I put those together, that go back to the original intention to your pure passion. I have nothing against money being a passion. If that's what people want, that's what people want. But she started becoming confused, and in that reading, the final card was something that expresses what is above, what is below, kind of law of attraction or reflection of a macrocosm, that relationship that reflect between macrocosm and a microcosm, that what you project is what you get. So I was trying to tell her that as long as you're thinking, because she told me that, dear, you can't just be living with your passion only. You have to have money to express your passion. And that's why I want money. So money wasn't her passion. It was she just had basically given up on, say, enjoying the process or the work itself. It just became she became slave to her own work. And of course, because she's thinking that way, life becomes that way. And I was trying to tell her that as long as you think that way, that's exactly what's going to happen. We make our life. We create our life, that we manifest what we think and what we believe. So I wasn't able to express it. I think this was a long time ago, but I was a bit intimidated by her very adamant attitude that, but dear, life doesn't work that way. And I was like, okay, well, if you're that determined, then there is not much I can do. So a funny thing was, after this episode, I kind of felt bad about was I able to do something, about her, bring her some kind of a joy, a different way of thinking and different perspective, so that she can actually feel more joy and passion and enjoyment in doing what she is doing. But it didn't feel quite right to email her, follow up on hey, by the way, this is what I really means. I felt really bad.
Yeah.
But then couple days later, I wasn't talking about this client, but I was just talking to a friend of mine when I was out at a park in Northgate. There is a big park there, and I was talking to a friend, and I said I just feel I failed a client, and kind of feeling bad about that. And as I was talking about that, there was this one woman who passed by, and she had a few dogs. And this woman looks at me and waves at me and goes, "Hey, I was at your place just a couple of days ago." And it was that client who got reading from me. And I was working in Bryanston at the time. And this is in Northgate, and she found me on some kind of four-ways group on Facebook. So Northgate is 20 minutes away from where we live, I live, and this is a huge park where there's so many pathways. She could have been anywhere, and we might not have even crossed, but our paths crossed at the time.
Yeah.
And it was, I took it as a message from the universe saying, it's okay, always, it's okay to make a mistake, because we all are here to experience. And it still wasn't a mistake, because I learned something. And let's hope that she had taken on something, that there was soul contract between me and her, that she benefited something from me as well. So it was a confirmation that next time, if you have gotten a message through a tarot reading, then don't be afraid and express it, because expressing ourselves or reflecting the voice of the universe is our duty, and not let fear consume me and think, well, she's a paying customer, so I'm just gonna go with what she says. I can't have that attitude. So it was this, yeah. Well, I mean, like, it wasn't all bad. I mean, like, I did drew some cards that were more relevant to her, that, okay, you are at the, like, a decision-making point, and, go back to your own intention, like, reflect what you originally thought about it, and start from there, So, like, there was some advice that I was able to provide, but I just wasn't able to be, like, strong enough about, you will create life that is based on your thoughts and beliefs. And that idea is definitely one of my strongest philosophies in life. And I learned, and I appreciate the experience and the lesson from that time.
Wow. But just going back to what she said about pursuing money for the sake of the passion, or her passion. What are your thoughts about that? Because
the question is, okay, with that money, what do you want to do? Like,
so is it a question of the consciousness behind the tool then?
Yes. So I see nothing wrong with the money. Some people say that there is a conflict between spirituality and money making. I don't think so. I think it's cop-out. I'm so sorry if you wanna complain about my thought. Email us. But I don't think there is conflict. What we forget is that whatever we do, we should be rewarded, or energy exchange must take place. Whatever that you are doing right now, whatever that I'm doing right now, is all based on what we have been doing. We have put our effort, time, money, energy to get where we are. And if we're going to give something, there has to be energy exchange.
If there isn't an exchange, then I guess it's an unhealthy situation.
It is very unhealthy. And money is just the easiest way to put numbers to what you do.
Like to appreciate the quality of the work?
Yes, yeah. Well, there is a card. Let's see if I can find it. If I don't find it, that's fine. But there is a card called Two of Discs. And when it is reversed, okay, Two of Discs, is this the camera? Yeah, is it being filmed? Okay. When this card is reversed, it means people don't want to give you money if that's all you want. People don't mind paying for what they are getting. So as long as people see value in what you do, then money is not the issue itself. It's the association, and you should receive. You should give and receive at the same time of the same energy, of the energy quantity. And money is just one of the qualities what you get.
Yeah.
So for the spiritual work, well, Spiritual is wonderful and all, but we must not forget that we are physical beings. And money might not be the most important thing in the world. However, without money, we actually can't eat. We can't really maintain dignity. If you are in the situation where you can maintain your dignity without money, that's fine. And people like Gandhi or I'm sure you can come up with some names who are quite content in life and not have money or material belongings. I'm sure we can come up with quite a few people.
Quite a few people, yeah.
Yeah. And if we are content, if we can be happy and maintain dignity, having money is not important.
But then when you come to think about it, I just went through a few names. I'm just thinking, well, they don't deal with money directly. But
no, they don't. But however, they
there.
still need to be fed.
Yeah. So people, it's like they're depending on the kindness of people.
Yes.
And the kindness of people.
See, that's energy exchange.
Yeah.
We must receive what we give. And I think I'm finding out far more people actually have difficulty receiving.
Yeah.
Than
I've
giving.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there are also people who are more focused on giving. Receiving. That they'll say well, what am I getting for that?
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with what saying what am I getting for that if they are actually really, giving something in return, and this receiving and giving is not always about money. Money itself, it's just pure energy exchanges. Money is human made.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's very true what you're saying about it's not always about money, but the situation and culture that we've come to live in, particularly in the urban, it's largely based on money. And it's being pushed to a state where it is about money. Actually, if whatever you do, there has to be money involved, and it's made people very cold.
Yes, it does. So, but there is always pros and cons or yin and yang to anything. It's not the money itself that is negative or positive. Money itself is neutral. It's our intention.
The consciousness behind
our
the tool.
consciousness behind the tool. So there isn't any conflict between spirituality and money. And if there are people who would say, being spiritual really shouldn't focus on money, well, then that only reflects that person's internal issue. If I can be just as blunt as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's actually I was just thinking about that. It's been my meditation this morning. The consciousness behind the tool is the most important thing.
Yeah, and the ultimate question is, what do you want to do with that money? Well, if you want, say, nice house or big house, whatever that nice really is, means, well, so what do you want from that big house or nice house? If you want
room, space,
so it's usually the intention.
You want to be lonely.
Lonely. Your own space, okay?
Yeah.
And it's usually what is behind that desire. What do you want to do with the money? What do you want to buy with that money? And what will you get with that material thing that you want to be receiving? It might not be material thing at all, It might be you want to take a course, you want to take you want to get a further education. And so the values behind the money is not the money itself. It's behind what you're going to get with that money. Because who is going to be happy just sitting with lots of money in the account? maybe there are people like that. Well, then that's fine too. If it's more important to acknowledge our own internal desire. If they just want to see the number increasing on their account, in their account, that's fine. If that's what they enjoy, they should focus on what they enjoy. But if it's just money as means, then we should look at what we really want beyond that. What are we really trying to buy with it?
So looking at that, does that mean that you have to be conscious of the responsibility that is, expected of you, if you may? Like, are you responsible enough to accept the consequences and deal with them like that?
I feel more like, say, mindfulness. Like be mindful and be conscious of your actions and thoughts and feelings as much as possible. I don't think it can go wrong, if you know what I mean. Instead of just living mechanically, like, okay, well, because this is what I've been told to do, this is what people say I should believe, so
this must be right.
Instead of that, always be aware of, like, this is what I want, and then none of us have to explain ourselves or justify ourselves to anybody else. But we should be aware of, as much as possible, aware of who we are, what we are thinking, and what we are feeling, and that's a conscious living.
Conscious living, yeah. May I have a look at that card again?
Yes.
So if it's the right way up?
Right way up is like things do change, and like things go round and round and round, and upside down means, well, like it's like things are not going around and round and round, right? Something, you are staggering something, and disc, the discs here, disc is a card of a material, our physical being, and sometimes it does represent money as well, the concept of money itself. So if you're not practicing what goes around comes around, then it's not right. And if I may be honest, sometimes when I try to offer free reading, I have tried to do free reading for people, has never worked out. I mean, irrelevant cards come out, and I'm going, okay, it definitely were lessons where I do need to ask for proper energy exchange. And the energy exchange, as I said, it doesn't have to be money. Money is just a human-made, very easy to see, quantified energy. Very, very quantified energy. But if I'm just not getting anything, if somebody says to me oh, you do tarot reading, so can I just get a tarot reading? Cards just don't come out in the correct way, and jokingly I say, oh, I can't do tarot reading, I can't connect to my spirit if I don't get paid. It's a joke, it is, but I have realized that if there isn't a proper energy exchange taking place, then spirit doesn't help me to develop my skill either. So I hope
that's something to really take to account, though, isn't it?
It is. And it also was a lesson for me to value my gift. It can't be given freely. And I totally don't mind doing it, free reading here on the radio, because on 108 Live, because I am getting something out of this. So it's only fair that I give as much as I can, while I am getting this opportunity of experiencing being a radio host, and also I can use this as my advertisement.
I was just thinking.
advertisement. I mean.
Yeah, I was also just thinking about. I make beads, right?
Oh, you do you make beads.
Yeah.
Oh wow. We
So-
got to talk about that. Is that a paper bead? No.
Like no, not beads. Like music.
Oh,
stuff,
music
yeah.
stuff. Yes.
So I got like guys like asking them for free, you know.
Oh yeah. And like
And
I
I'm
have
like,
a. Yes, exactly.
I gave you one last year and you didn't use it. What did you use it for?
Yeah,
kind of thing,
and
yeah.
also when people pay.
And they make you feel terrible for not wanting to give.
Yeah, and yeah, it makes you put you through a guilt trip, and also when people don't pay, they don't take value in it.
They don't value it.
They take it
Yeah.
for granted. They think it's free. Oh my goodness, So because I'm an artist, there have been people in the past who would ask for like, oh, can you just draw this for me? Like, yeah, okay, it's gonna be this much. Don't hear anything about it from them. It's like, fine. Like, it's and sometimes it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It is like a really energy exchange
Appreciation.
itself. Yeah. So
Yeah. I'm the guest that never leaves.
no, well, you are actually not a guest. You are like family. I mean, you are the guy of a 108 Life. So
I'm the guy you invite to come spend the night in the garage because he doesn't have anywhere to stay, and before you know it, he set up camp.
but yeah, it has been really good session. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And next week we'll have a guest who is a fellow tarot reader.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's going to be quite a good conversation too.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and if I can make a sort of a personal announcement, I am helping out a wellness center in Yukseki Park in Johannesburg to hold a holistic wellness market. And it's held on the 9th August, next Thursday, on Women's Day. And Yukseki Park, in Yukseki Park, the address is 7 Zircon Street. 7 Zircon Street.
Zircon Street.
Yeah. And there will be like, if I'm not mistaken, between 30 to 35 stallholders, and at this point we have to turn down some stallholders. There are going to be goods and treatment rooms available for all sorts of alternative healthcare, from body talk to access bars to color therapy, massage, you name it. So yeah, I hope people can come to this market, and I'll be definitely having a stall doing a tarot reading.
Yeah, maybe we'll come through and
Yeah,
be with
entrance fee is 20 rand.
you. 20 rand.
20
That's not
rand.
bad.
And we also give away raffle tickets. Like one entrance fee will buy one
Ticket.
ticket,
Okay.
and it's worth like one. There will be 2 winners, and each being like a 1,500 rand worth. And I'll be donating my orgonite. Orgonite. Do you know what orgonite is? I mean, we don't
Yeah.
that much time to talk about it, but
Yeah, I've always you told me once, but yeah, maybe the listeners are interested in what it is.
yeah, orgonite is a device made with metal pieces and crystal encasted in resin, and it absorbs negative energy of electromagnetic frequency, which causes all sorts of health issues.
That includes what, like Wi-Fi,
Cell phones.
like
Yeah,
phones,
Wi-Fi and cell phone,
everything. Basically,
everything.
we live in the net.
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I make pretty ones.
They are very pretty.
They are pretty. Too bad I can't really show them to you on the radio.
If you were to describe them, what would you say?
Shiny.
It's shiny. They look like little universes, though. Eh?
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah.
They look like.
And
little
I make all forms of orgonite. Maybe I can come on to your show one day as a guest.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I shall do that. So, okay, market next Thursday, 9th August at Yukuseki Park, address 7 Zircon Street. I hope we'll see you there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, okay, it's time to say goodbye. And thank you for listening for the last 1 hour. It was Interactive Tarot on 108live.radio. I'm Kazway, your personal guide to tarot cards, and we'll look forward to you tuning in next Friday at 11 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.